Hi tutorial classmates, my name is Daniel and this is my final video of course. During the academic semester that has just ended, I had the opportunity to study a subject deeply significant in my training as an English teacher, pedagogical practice with focus on theories of language acquisition. This experience not only consolidated previous knowledge, but also transformed my perceptions about teaching and learning a second language. In this report, I wish to share my views and reflections on two essential aspects of this course. The first, the most rewarding part of my experience in pedagogical practice. And second, how my understanding of theories of language acquisition evolved throughout the course. The most rewarding part of my experience in teaching practice, without doubt, the most rewarding aspect of this experience was the direct contact with big course content and putting into practice what I learned in the theoretical class by understanding each activity in a virtual environment allowed me to test the validity of methodological strategies. But above all, it taught me to see teaching as a human process, dynamic and full of challenge. Also, from the beginning, it was very gratifying for me to watch my own evolution as a teacher. Each week conference and activity was an opportunity for improvement. I learned to plan my times more clearly and manage spaces better, anticipate difficulties, and above the listen to my students in the case a future. I also discovered the value of immediate feedback from the tutor teacher, which enriches my learning process. It was very special to experience teacher resilience. There were times when the technology failed, when course partners did not participate as expected, but getting ahead and keeping a positive attitude to finding creative solutions was itself one of the most powerful lessons I have from this course. On the other hand, my understanding of language acquisition theories and what I learned. I entered the course with a very general and superficial understanding of language acquisition theories, and I had a basic idea about names like Chomsky or Krashen, but I hadn't been able to connect those theories with classroom practice. This course allowed me to understand in depth the theoretical foundations of how we learn a second language. And most importantly, helped me translate that knowledge into concrete pedagogical decisions. For example, of the first theories that motivated me to studying was Stephen Krashen and his five hypotheses. Before, I thought that exposure to the language was enough to learn, but understanding the importance of understandable input made me understand that the materials we use must be carefully designed to be understandable yet challenging. Also, the concept of affective filter helped me understand why it's so important to create an emotionally safe environments for students. It's very important, and many of them are afraid to make mistakes, and that inhibits their participation. And as a future teacher, I know I know now that I must work not only on the content but also on the motivation and confidence of the student. In the case, another theory that struck me was the communicate approach, especially in contrast to more traditional methods such as grammatical translation. And I understood that teaching English is not just about explaining rules or translating sentences, but about facilitating meaningful communication. Hence my interest in methods such as total basic response and TPR, the language learning community, and natural approaches, where interaction plays central role. We also studied Vygotsky for sociocultural theory with the concept of the near developed zone, and that helped me to value more work in pairs or groups, and where the student can support each other. In the practice, I noticed that when on more advanced student helps another and both benefits it. One reinforces what he knows and the other accesses a more meaningful learning. In addition, thanks to the course, I learned about the flipped classroom model, and which I found innovative and very useful for optimizing class time by allowing students to study theoretical concepts at home through videos or other resources. Classroom time can be devoted to practice, interaction, and doubt solving. This not only promotes active learning but responds better to the diverse styles and range of students. In short, what I learned the most was to see theories not as abstract ideas, but as tool that help me design more effective classes. Each method, approach, and theory brings a different perspective. It's very important. And as teachers, we must be able to combine them, adapt them, and apply them critically. Yeah, it's so. Thanks, teacher. Thanks, tutor. Thanks, classmates. Bye bye.